Hey Andy, welcome to the Community Living Golf Tournament. Just want to give you an opportunity here to view your swing at regular speed. We'll also just go ahead and put you back in your dress position, and then we'll take a look at a few things for you. So while we got you back here in your setup, your posture is pretty decent. You got your spine straight and on a slight tilt. Legs come down into a nicely unlocked position. Arms hang down nice and naturally in front of you. Club works out to the ball, so not too bad posture there. With your balance, it looks like you're sort of leaning back on your heels a little bit. So with this posture, we'd like you to be in a little bit better balance, whereby you sort of rock a little bit more forward on the balls of your feet. Possibly also get your hands a little closer to your thighs, increase the angle relationship. So it would look a little bit more like your spine sort of exactly where it is. And then the legs are unlocked as they are, and then your arms would hang down a little closer to you, and then the golf club will work out to the ball. But with that position, we would want your balance to be a little bit more out over the balls of your feet a little bit more. Your alignment from this standpoint here looks pretty decent. Feet are running in this direction. Theoretically, club face is supposed to run parallel to your feet. Parallel lines on camera will have appearance of converging. So we can see that you're set up right down the center of the fairway. So that's fine. Let's go ahead and do a little split screen comparison here between you and Brandt Snedeker. Now we got some color coded lines on the screen here just as a visual reference point. And you can see here how Snedeker, you see how he's a little bit more athletic, ready on the balls of his feet. He's more forward. Better angle relationship between the arms and the club. So that's sort of what I was referring to. Now, as we take the golf club back, basically what we're trying to do here is we're trying to create good shoulder rotation, draw the arms and hands back as well as the club. Want the club coming back on plane along the red line. From here, we got to incorporate good wrist hinge into play, where we're transitioning the club from below to above the hands. And in order to do that, you got to have a good grip. And then from there, we're working the club from red up to yellow. When we finally get to the top of the backswing, a few things have happened. We've created full shoulder rotation. We've created wrist hinge. We've done all this at about a very stable right leg. So with you, as you bring the golf club back, your hands travel back, your shoulders kicking in, you're coming back on plane. Everything looks great right now. But we're really not creating form rotation and creating hinge. So you're turning your left hand underneath the club, so that your Velcro strap of your glove is facing the ground. So there's no forearm rotation. It's going to be very difficult to create wrist hinge. So you're very stiff-wristed with the golf club as you're turning. So when we finally get to the top of the backswing is abbreviated due to the fact that we haven't created club travel via creating wrist hinge. So one of the things you want to do is you definitely want to learn how to create proper wrist hinge in your backswing, because everything else you're doing is pretty good. You've turned your shoulders, your arms are in pretty good geometry relative to your core, your club's in good position relative to your arms, your stable right side. I mean, everything's good. You really need to learn how to just create proper wrist hinge coming back. So as we create our transition back into the ball, simply want to move our weight from our right to our left, fire our knees and our hips to the target, unwind our core, and fire our hands. And in doing so, we want to bring the golf club from yellow back down on top of red. And that's exactly what we see here. We see the golf club returning back to on plane. The other thing we want to point out at this stage of the golf swing is the relationship between the lead forearm and the club. We refer to this as the backwards check mark, which simply means the club head right now is remaining above and behind his hands, and therefore he's retaining angle coming into this hitting zone, which is going to allow us to create a lot of power in the golf swing. Now the only way to create this retaining of angle is you have to create hinge going back. So with you, because you didn't create hinge going back, it's going to be tough to have a lot of retaining of angle coming into the golf ball. So as you create your transition, unfortunately, you're pushing the club out in front of you. So we can see here the club falling out in front. So we just keep on tracking the club coming in. It just keeps falling further and further out in front. So the club never returns back to being on plane. And we're never really retaining any angle coming into the hitting zone. Whereas with Snedeker, the club tracks into the golf ball directly from this red line, and he's releasing that hinge that he created going back. Okay? So you're coming in too steep, that's going to influence the swing path. Snedeker's coming from on plane, so his swing path can come from inside the ball, expand out, and move through on a nice natural subtle arc. Your club's coming from the outside, moving down and across. So see the path of the club? So very simply put, if we square the face up to that path, we're going to pull the golf shot in that direction. If we release the club relative to that path, then what will happen is the ball will continue to go further left with a pull draw or pull hook. If the club face remains open to that path, the ball may not start as far left, has left to right spin, will create a slice, and if the club face squares up with good timing, then we'll be able to sort of hopefully keep that ball towards our intended target. As we continue to come through, we want the right heel off the ground at impact. Right heel should keep coming off the ground up on the toe of the right foot, and that allows us to get to a good finish. So we're up on the toe of the right foot, all the weight's in the left heel when we're done. We extend on our left side, hips are square, shoulders are fully rotated, hands are high with the club back and behind us. We can see through impact, your right heel's still on the ground. Let's pay attention to what you do, and you leave it on the ground on the way through. So you're creating a lot of pressure on your lower back. You definitely want to learn how to create proper footwork through to the finish. Just simply bring that right heel up off the ground, get up on the toe of the right foot, and that'll carry all your weight to your left side, and then your hips and shoulders will be able to square around better, and you'll be able to complete that golf swing more. Okay? So overall, I mean, you got some pretty decent athletic qualities with your swing. Your hands work well. They come back, they fire through great. Your core works well. You coil back, you uncoil through. You could finish better by creating better footwork, as we just talked about. Primary thing we need to do is maybe fine-tune your posture a hair, and then definitely need to learn how to create proper wrist hinge coming back, and then ideally we would like to come into the ball from an on-plane position. Because there's three things we need in order to be consistent, and that is we have to aim well, which you're doing. You have to bring the club down on plane, and then you have to square the face up. Unfortunately, you're coming at the ball a little bit from over the top, and then at that point in time, you're trying to manipulate the club face based on that path, and that can become very difficult to do. Anyways, if at any point in time you'd like to work on any of these aspects of your golf game, certainly feel free to reach out. All my contact information is at the end of the swing analysis. Also, if you're involved with any golf tournaments, looking for a unique gift to provide to your guests, you can also feel free to touch base with me as well. Anyways, I hope you had a great day. Hope you enjoyed getting an opportunity to see your swing on video, and hope you have a great summer.